Topuria is talking about coming to 155.
That makes sense. Give the chance third time from the same guy who come.
That would be a great fight.
That's the fight to make because you have a world champion versus a world champion.
I beat the Volkanovski twice. People still say you beat small guy.
Yeah.
He's not your weight division. If I beat Topuria, it's gonna be the same
thing.
Everybody gonna talk same. But
Like if anybody deserves a fight for the world title in the next weight class, it's you. It's simple.
This clip doesn't ease in, it drops straight into Islam Makhachev's cold, methodical breakdown of a possible collision with Ilia Topuria at 155, and you can feel the trap being set before a punch is thrown. Islam isn't just preparing for a fight, he's preempting the backlash, already dissecting the tired small guy narrative critics will weaponize no matter the outcome. But the real tension lurks beneath that calculation. Think back to the White House moment, the sharp words, the charged air, the verbal sparks flying, especially with Conor McGregor. That wasn't noise, it was awareness. Islam knows exactly how bright the spotlight burns and how quickly perception twists. While he publicly locks in on Topuria as the rightful challenge, there's an undercurrent: McGregor's chaos, his magnetism, the obscene payday attached to his name. You can't help but wonder if that looming spectacle is quietly bending Islam's long game, transforming every potential rivalry into something far more explosive than just sport.
It's simple. You knocked out Max Holloway. I mean, it's simple. You knocked out Alexander Volkanovski, one of the greatest of all time. It's simple. That's a no-brainer. That's the fight.
Hopefully they...
This segment doesn't just argue for Ilia Topuria versus Islam Makhachev, it locks the door and leaves no escape from the conclusion that it has to happen. From a merit standpoint, it's airtight. Topuria didn't whisper his way into contention, he detonated it, flattening Max Holloway and silencing Alexander Volkanovski in ways that erased debate. Those weren't lucky nights, they were statements carved in highlight reels, undeniable proof that he belongs at 155 with the most dangerous man in the division. This isn't hype dressed up as destiny, it's a challenge forged through verifiable, elite-level destruction. When you strip away the noise, this matchup feels like the purest test the UFC can offer, a collision built on skill, timing, and earned consequence. And that purity casts a long shadow over the theatrics that often hijack the spotlight, the media storms and carefully staged chaos Conor McGregor so masterfully ignites. Unlike those spectacles, this fight wouldn't rely on microphones or mind games to sell it. The stakes are already suffocating. Lightweight gold, legacy on the line. Two finishers who have proven they can erase legends in a blink. In a division defined by razor-thin margins and brutal proof, this isn't just compelling, it's inevitable.
They make that fight happen.
Ilia has been grinding all his life to get to this position.
I was 15 years old. I go with my brother to talk to my father, and we tell him like...
This short but piercing clip quietly peels back the layers behind Ilia Topuria's rise, exposing the deep-rooted obsession fueling every step of his climb. It doesn't frame his success as sudden or accidental, it reveals a life spent grinding in silence long before the cameras ever found him. Then comes the turning point, almost cinematic in its weight. At just 15 years old, he walked up to his father and made a request that would fracture any ordinary childhood. He wanted to devote himself completely to martial arts. No safety nets, no distractions. That moment wasn't dramatic for effect. It was irreversible. It forged the mindset we now see inside the cage, the unshakable confidence, the cold belief, the refusal to bend under pressure. His dominance suddenly makes sense when you realize it was built on years of sacrifice most people never witness. This isn't a fighter chasing applause or trending headlines. It's a man executing a promise he made as a teenager, step by ruthless step. That lifelong hunger separates him from the fleeting pursuits of fame, the spectacle-driven narratives, and the occasional comeback theatrics often tied to figures like Conor McGregor. For Topuria, this was never about noise. It was always about destiny.
Hey Dad, we don't want to go to school anymore, but we really want to train, and we're gonna go like all day, every day into gym, and we're gonna train. And he told me like, if you're really gonna train...
Here, we don't just hear a request, we witness a gamble. Young Ilia and his brother stand before their father and make a radical plea: abandon traditional schooling, strip life down to one obsession, and live in the gym from sunrise to exhaustion. It's not rebellion, it's conviction burning far too intensely for their age. This wasn't a phase or a weekend hobby dressed up as ambition. It was a permanent fork in the road chosen before most teenagers understand consequence. Every ordinary comfort was weighed against a dream that demanded everything, and they chose the dream. That single decision echoes forward into every calculated step Ilia takes now. The endless drills, the bruised mornings, the isolation, it all began with that moment of defiance disguised as belief. Day after day, repetition hardened into discipline, and discipline evolved into something far more dangerous: certainty. The formidable force Topuria has become didn't materialize overnight. It was engineered through years of tunnel vision and sacrifice. And when you look at his pursuit of Islam's title, it feels less like ambition and more like inevitability. That kind of focus hits differently in a sport often flooded with spectacle and larger-than-life personas, the kind embodied by by Conor McGregor. While others mastered headlines, Ilia mastered obsession, and that difference may be everything.
All the time, and like you tell me, you have my approval
Incredible. What a story. And you just went to the gym all day.
all day.
This segment doesn't just show a father saying yes, it captures a line drawn in stone. Ilia's father offers conditional approval, but it comes with weight. If you are truly going to train all the time, if this is your life without excuses, then you have my blessing. That statement isn't permission, it's a contract. It forges an ethic of relentless devotion where half measures don't exist. The repetition of all days isn't casual language, it's a warning about total immersion, about surrendering comfort, routine, and distraction to something far more demanding. In that exchange, childhood quietly ends and purpose takes over. That unwavering support, tied strictly to absolute commitment, becomes the foundation beneath every victory that follows. It reveals that Ilia's rise isn't fueled by talent alone but by a rare alignment within his family, a shared understanding that this path would cost everything and still be worth it. The belief wasn't blind, it was disciplined, structured, and brutally clear. That clarity now echoes in his pursuit of Islam's lightweight belt. His ambition doesn't feel like a chase for fame or momentary spotlight, it feels like the fulfillment of a vow made under conditions that allowed no retreat. What defines Topuria isn't noise or spectacle, but a character carved from expectation, sacrifice, and an agreement that demanded greatness every single day.
Soon enough, they become the first Georgians to receive a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Ilia starts his pro career with 4 straight submission wins, winning a belt in mixed fight events promotion in the process.
And I was working because I had to pay all the competitions. I was working in 4 wars.
He then grabs another 2 submissions wins.
This clip pulls us back to Ilia Topuria's raw beginnings, exposing the moments that quietly forged the monster we see now. 2 milestones flash like warning signs, becoming one of the first Georgians to earn a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt and launching his professional run with 4 straight submission victories that left no doubt about his finishing instinct. But the detail that cuts deepest isn't the gold around his waist, it's the admission that he was working because he had to pay for all the competitions himself. That single truth changes everything. This isn't a prodigy handed a fast track, it's a grinder clocking shifts to bankroll a dream most people would abandon. Every tournament entry fee, every late night training session, every early morning shift fed the same obsession. His dominance in BJJ wasn't just technical, it was survival sharpened into skill. Those early pro finishes weren't lucky streaks, they were proof of a foundation built under pressure. That relentless self-funding grind carved resilience into his identity long before the UFC lights ever found him. It reveals a competitor wired differently, someone who understood sacrifice before glory was even an option. In a sport crowded with fighters chasing instant fame, Topuria's rise feels heavier, earned through exhaustion and belief rather than shortcuts.
It's after this KO, and with 7 other wins by submissions, that the UFC comes calling. He manages to win the fight against Youssef Zalal via unanimous decision. Then his UFC rampage starts.
This short segment captures the exact moment Ilia Topuria crosses the threshold into the UFC, where his pattern of destruction, brutal KOs mixed with 7 suffocating submission wins, finally becomes impossible to ignore. The promotion didn't gamble on height, it responded to a finisher who kept leaving bodies behind. His debut, a unanimous decision over Youssef Zalal, wasn't just a tally in the win column, it was ignition, the official beginning of a calculated rampage. That night proved he wasn't merely a regional storm, he was built for the brightest lights, capable of adjusting, enduring, and still dictating terms. For Islam, that reality shifts the equation. This isn't a loud contender chasing headlines. It's a methodical climber who earned every rung through consistency and damage, separating himself from personality-driven callouts and empty provocations. Ilia destroyed everybody on his path, but his greatest challenge is yet to come. That line hangs in the air like a warning siren. It frames him as an advancing force, unstoppable so far, yet staring into the one collision that could define everything. That looming test is a showdown with Islam Makhachev at 155 pounds, a fight that would either cement his legacy in steel or fracture the ascent. It speaks to ambition rooted in competition, not spectacle. For Topuria, legacy outweighs noise, and that singular focus is what divides the elite from the merely famous.
Ilia destroyed everybody on his is yet to come.
This razor-sharp statement, Ilia destroyed everybody on his path, but his greatest challenge is yet to come, cuts straight to the core of the storm surrounding Ilia Topuria. It paints him as a wrecking force who has left no survivor untouched, an advancing shadow that flattened every obstacle placed in front of him. Yet beneath that aura of inevitability lingers something heavier, the final exam still waiting in the dark. The line doesn't just praise dominance, it foreshadows collision. That looming trial is a super fight with Islam Makhachev at 155 pounds, a clash that would either cement Topuria's name in permanent ink or or expose the first fracture in his ascent. It's the kind of matchup that doesn't just headline an event, it reshapes divisions and defines eras. This framing elevates his run beyond highlight reels and viral knockouts, steering it toward legacy territory. His ambition doesn't read like a thirst for spectacle or trending moments. It feels like a calculated march toward undeniable greatness. There's a competitive fire underneath it all, steady and uncompromising, pushing him toward the one test that can validate everything. For Topuria, legacy outweighs applause, and that singular obsession is the thin, brutal line separating the truly elite from the merely famous.
I don't think he's as good as he says he is, to be quite honest, but we will see.
Ilia Topuria doesn't hedge, doesn't soften the edges, he slices straight through the facade with a chilling dismissal. I don't think he's as good as he says he is, to be quite honest. But we will see. It's not trash talk dressed for cameras, it's a verdict delivered with a shrug. That cold, no-nonsense tone is vintage Topuria, unyielding confidence wrapped in calm certainty. He isn't rattled by reputations, belts, or self-proclaimed greatness. In his mind, skill is the only currency that matters, and he's convinced he owns more of it. There's something dangerous about how casually he questions another man's level, as if exposing a secret flaw only he can see. That quiet doubt plants a seed in the public imagination. What if he's right? What if the aura cracks the moment the cage door shuts? This kind of verbal spark doesn't just fill headlines, it loads tension into a future collision, transforming speculation into something personal. Rivalries thrive on moments like this, measured disrespect, controlled fire. It's the same psychological edge that figures like Conor McGregor have weaponized for years, turning words into pressure and pressure into spectacle. But with Topuria, it feels less theatrical and more surgical. He's not chasing noise, he's setting a trap, daring his opponent to prove him wrong under the brightest lights.
Where now?
You want to earn your not given to you. He took advantage of taking a photo with the belt.
This quote, "Wear it now. You want to earn, it's not given to you," isn't idle chatter, it's a scalpel aimed at unearned glory. Ilia Topuria seizes the moment, even turning a simple photo with the belt into a calculated jab, dripping with contempt for those he perceives as riding coattails or chasing clout. It's more than ego, it's a statement of principle. Achievement must be forged, not borrowed. Every syllable reinforces his creed that dominance and hard work are the only currency in the fight game, and anyone skating past that standard is fair game for scrutiny. That mindset doesn't just shape him, it provokes opponents, fans, and the media alike, layering tension before the first strike lands. Rivalries ignite on this kind of personal fire, where words cut as sharply as fists, and anticipation thickens with every calculated slight. In that sense, Topuria's verbal strikes mirror the psychological warfare of Conor McGregor, transforming fights into narrative duels where reputation, pride, and personal edge collide. But unlike casual taunting, there's weight behind Topuria's jabs. They're grounded in earned authority, a tangible challenge daring anyone to step up and prove their worth. This is verbal combat at its finest, and the echo of it lingers, turning every encounter into a battle for respect, legacy, and undeniable proof of who truly belongs at the top.
This old man needs this young fella a lesson.
I'm gonna humble.
This explosive declaration, "I picked this old man. Shut up, young fella. A lesson. I'm going to help you." It's like a strike before the bell even rings. It's Ilia Topuria at his boldest, unleashing unfiltered fight trash talk crafted to belittle and intimidate. Calling an opponent an old man isn't casual. It's a scalpel of psychological dominance, and promising to deliver a lesson signals a predator sizing up prey. In that moment, Topuria positions himself as the new apex, the king ready to dismantle anyone who dares cross his path. Every word drips with confidence, audacity, and the kind of mental warfare that shifts the fight before gloves even touch. This confrontational cadence echoes the headline-grabbing tactics of Conor McGregor, but it's pure Topuria, less spectacle, more strategic assertion. It exposes a fighter who doesn't just plan to win physically, he intends to dominate mentally, laying claim to the cage, the narrative, and every ounce of attention. There's a cold clarity behind the bravado, a message that resonates. Stepping into his world means facing not just strikes, but the weight of someone convinced of their supremacy. It's a psychological ambush, a prelude to violence that makes the eventual clash feel inevitable and electrifying, a testament to Topuria's ruthless, unflinching competitive spirit.
Before Ilia's championship fight, the UFC took notice of Alexander.
All right, so your brother Alexander, this is very exciting. He's been signed by the UFC.
He's very good, very talented. He's ready. He's ready, trust me.
This final clip expands the Topuria saga, shifting the lens to the electrifying revelation of his brother Alexander signing with the UFC. Ilia's fired-up endorsement, "He's ready, trust me," doesn't just signal fate, it's a declaration of inherited ferocity, a window into a family wired for domination. That repetition, that conviction, hits like a drumbeat, announcing that talent isn't isolated, it's in the blood. The moment transforms Alexander from a promising newcomer into a crucial piece of a rising fighting dynasty, layering the narrative around Ilia with tension, pride, and inevitability. This isn't simply a sibling nod, it's a statement that the Topuria brothers are constructing a force too precise and relentless to ignore. Individually, each carves a path of destruction, together they become a unit whose ambition threatens to redefine expectations in the UFC. Every fight, every victory, every calculated step forward builds toward a legacy that transcends a single belt or moment. Ilia's pursuit of Islam's lightweight crown suddenly reads not only as personal ambition but as a chapter in a broader, family-driven conquest, one that stakes their claim on history itself. The clip closes with that knowing affirmation, see, a subtle but undeniable assertion that the Topurias are coming and the sport had better take note.